You do not need a separate certification to teach restorative yoga. You do need a framework, and most 200-hour trainings don't give you one. In the next few minutes, I'll show you what Yoga Alliance actually requires, what studios actually look for, and what it actually takes to teach restorative yoga well. I'm Sage Rountree. I've spent over 20 years teaching yoga and training yoga teachers, and I created Fundamentals of Teaching Restorative Yoga, a YACEP-approved course worth 20 Yoga Alliance continuing education hours. So yes, I have a stake in this question. I'm going to be honest about that and give you the straight answer anyway. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what Yoga Alliance requires, what studios expect, and how to start teaching restorative today without spending a dime on a separate certification. If you want a place to start tonight, grab the free Best Shavasana Ever guide in the description. It's the exact script I use to close my own restorative classes. Now here's the official answer. Yoga Alliance does not require a separate certification to teach restorative yoga. If you have your RYT 200, you are registered to teach yoga, and restorative falls under that umbrella. There is no RYT restorative credential. It doesn't exist. Technically, legally, if you care about the Yoga Alliance guidelines, you can put a restorative class on the schedule this week. So the question isn't, am I allowed? The question is, am I prepared? And for most teachers, the honest answer is not quite. Not because anything is wrong with you, but because most 200-hour trainings spend generously about an hour on restorative, maybe a single afternoon if you're lucky. That's not enough to walk into a studio and confidently hold 90 minutes of deep rest for 20 strangers. Here's why the gap matters. 20 years of training teachers has shown me what happens when there's no framework for restorative yoga. One pattern is that teachers just avoid it. They tell themselves they're not ready, they wait for some external permission to feel qualified, and they miss out on what is honestly one of the most needed offerings on a studio schedule right now. The other pattern, teachers teach a yin class and call it restorative, or a gentle class with extra props and call it restorative. Those are three different practices with three different goals. Yin works the deep connective tissues with 3 to 7 minute holds and a strong stretching sensation. Gentle mobilizes the joints with light repetitive movement. Restorative yoga is something else entirely. 15 to 30 minute holds with zero stretching sensation, with props that eliminate every edge, and in an environment designed to shift the nervous system from sympathetic activation into parasympathetic rest. The research is pretty clear that it takes the body at least 10 to 15 minutes to make that shift, which is why a 3-minute yin hold and a 20-minute restorative hold are doing completely different jobs, different goal, different physiology, different teaching skill. Students feel the difference even when they can't name it, and that's where teacher confidence starts to erode. Now consider what a good restorative training actually gives you. A framework you can use immediately. My training rests on 2 principles you'll hear me repeat: prop up everything and less is more. Once these 2 principles are in your body, you can teach a 4-minute closing shavasana in a regular class, a 60-minute restorative class, or a half-day restorative workshop, using the same logic but at a different scale. A good restorative training gives you understanding instead of memorization. You don't want to memorize a sequence. You want to understand why we hold for 15 to 30 minutes, because that's how long the nervous system needs to actually downshift. Why every body part needs support, because microtensions keep students in alert mode. And why the room needs to be soft, warm, and dark, because environmental cues signal to the body that it's safe to let go. A good training gives you marketing language that works. The sentence, "I'm trained in teaching restorative yoga," will carry weight with studio owners, with corporate wellness clients, and with healthcare partners. A lot more weight than, "I have my 200-hour and I'm pretty sure I can figure it out." And a good training gives you continuing education credit. If your training is YACEP approved, you're stacking hours toward your Yoga Alliance renewal. Mine is worth 20 CEUs, fully self-paced. Here's what to look for if you do decide to invest in a restorative yoga training, because not every training is built the same. Look for a clear framework, not just a list of poses. You want logic you can adapt, not a sequence you have to recreate. Look for practical application, actual scripts, prop diagrams, cueing language. Theory without application is a textbook, it's not a training. Look for Yoga Alliance approval if continuing education matters to you. Look for a teacher who actually practices and teaches restorative, not someone who tacked it on to a yin training. And I would suggest you look for a flexible self-paced format because I bet your schedule is already pretty full. Have you been putting off teaching restorative yoga because you thought you needed a separate certification? Or did you jump in and figure it out as you went? Tell me your story in the comments. I read every one. If you want to start teaching restorative pose with some skill right now, grab that free Best Shavasana Ever guide in the description. It's the exact setup I use to close my own classes. Try it with one private student or in one class this week and notice what shifts. And if you're ready for the full system for teaching restorative, the framework, the prop library, class templates, 15+ video lessons, and 20 Yoga Alliance CEUs, check out Fundamentals of Teaching Restorative Yoga. It's self-paced, it's practical, it's designed for yoga teachers with full schedules. The link is in the description. You don't need a certification. You do need a framework. If you want to learn it, watch my video on how to teach a restorative class right here. See you in the next one.